Yes, sir.
Okay, so we finished over here in the last class. We were talking about re-engineering sales order processing using real-time technology. So we finished over here. We talked about re-engineering, we talked about automation, and we talked about aspects of real-time and batch processing within the context of re-engineering sales order processing using real-time technology. So we finished over here. Today, what we do is move on with this diagram. And this diagram is explained in the textbook. This picture is explained in the textbook, right? So please read the explanation carefully. And we have talked about this type of diagrams before in the previous chapters. So we've talked about that this one, for example, is a paper document. This one is the terminal point. This one is the data storage. This one is the computer operations, right? So mone ache, this one is the computer terminal. So over here, what they're doing, broadly speaking, is they're dividing the real-time sales order system into two parts. So they're dividing the real-time sales order system into two parts. One part is the real-time process and the other part is the batch process. Basically showing what is happening. There are certain things that happens real-time and that there are certain things that happens in batch. And they're also showing the sequence, like what happens after what, right? So all of these things, as you can see, all of these actions, these are happening in real time, and all of these are happening in batches, right? And so they're showing the sequences. For example, if you look at the real time, the sales order system is working as part of the computer operations. The customer data, inventory, subsidiary ledger accounts, all of these are updated in real time. এগুলো real time update হয়ে যাচ্ছে. The terminal is giving the input for the computer operations, and the data files are updated on real time, and then the subsequent work is done. But for all of this, these are happening in batches. So for example, general ledger update and billing system, management reports, whatever reports are required which are prepared, these are happening in batches. So there are multiple transactions of the same type in a batch, and the batch transactions are executed together, right? And then the data files are updated. So এগুলা ব্যাচে হচ্ছে, right? So এখানে কাজগুলো ব্যাচে হচ্ছে, তারপর data file গুলোকে ব্যাচে আপডেট দেওয়া হচ্ছে. So as you can see, it shows the divide between the activities which happen in real time over here and the activities which happens in batches over here. Any questions? Okay,
No, sir.
in the textbook. Next, we have the benefits of real-time processing, and we have talked about these things, I think, before in the context. I think generally we have talked about these things before, right? For example, real-time processing, it's faster and it's better, it's more accurate. The results are more current, right? The results are more up to date. Broadly speaking, we know about the benefits of the real-time system. Okay, so now what we do is we will talk about the benefits of the real-time system from the perspective of the revenue cycle. আমরা রিয়েল টাইম সিস্টেমস এর বেনিফিট জেনারেলি আলোচনা করেছি আগের চ্যাপ্টারগুলোর মধ্যে। এখন আমরা রিয়েল টাইম সিস্টেমস এর বেনিফিটগুলা রেভিনিউ সাইকেলের পয়েন্ট অফ ভিউ থেকে আলোচনা করব, রাইট? সো দ্য ডিসকাশন উইল ফোকাস অন দ্য রেভিনিউ সাইকেল, দ্যাট ফর দ্য রেভিনিউ সাইকেল what are the benefits of using real time processing. রেভিনিউ সাইকেলের ক্ষেত্রে real time ইউজ করলে benefits গুলা কি কি হয়। But before we do that, আশিকুর, জীবন,
Present, sir.
রোমান,
Present, sir.
তাহিয়াত ইসলাম,
Present, sir.
সাফা বিনতে, সৌহার্দ্র,
Yes, sir.
শিহাব,
Present, sir.
সাদিয়া,
Present, sir.
সামিত,
Present, sir.
সামির, নসীন,
Present, sir.
নুসাইবা,
Present, sir.
দিন আল লোমান,
Yes, sir.
ফারহিন, আতাহার,
Present, sir.
রাসেল,
Present, sir.
রচয়িতা,
Yes, sir.
Mahin,
Present, sir.
Nichun, Suleiman, Tasmia, Mushabbir,
Yes, sir.
Mahmuda,
Present, sir.
Tanvir, Arafat,
Yes, sir.
Ahsanul,
Yes, sir.
Lokesh,
Present, sir.
Shazin,
Present, sir.
Ahad,
Present, sir.
Christina,
Present, sir.
Ankita,
Present,
Ifat,
Present, sir.
Sadman,
Yes, sir.
Mahir,
Present, sir.
Oishi,
Present, sir.
Anika,
Yes, sir.
Mahdi,
Yes, sir.
Zubair,
Present, sir.
Shravani,
Present, sir.
Sadiqul Islam,
Present, sir.
Ishratul Islam, Ifad,
Present, sir.
Abdus,
Yes, sir.
Nafat,
Present, sir.
Arifin,
Present, sir.
Mahin, Noreen,
Present, sir.
Lutfa Islam, আর কেউ বাকি?
So serial number 23. Tanvir
Sir.
Islam.
আইডি বলেন।
2210400
যখন নাম ডাকছি কোথায় ছিলেন?
স্যার আমার মাইক অন হচ্ছিল না, আমি তখনই হ্যান্ড রেজ করেছিলাম, বাট
22
এখন আমি আবার লগ আউট করে দেন আবার লগ ইন করছি।
বলেন,
স্যার
বলেন,
05 2210400
হুম, ঠিক আছে। তারপরে আরেকজন কে?
2310469.
2310469।
So serial number 23.
আচ্ছা, anyone else? Okay, so moving back to the discussion, Amra, what are the benefits of real-time processing when we're talking about from the context of the revenue cycle? So it shortens the cash cycle. What is the cash cycle? It reduces the time between the order date and the billing date. So the cash cycle is basically the time between when the order is placed and when the bill is recorded, right? So the bill is sent. So if you're using real-time systems, the things are faster and the bills can be received faster, right? So the cash cycle is shortened, which means your cash management is better because you're getting more cash quickly. You can invest the cash into more production and to generate more profits for your company. Inventory management is also better because you know real time how much inventory you have. এটা কোম্পানির জন্য ভালো because এটা inventory manage করতে help করে, because real time systems it gives the company a very clear idea of how much inventory you have at any given point of time. All the different types of inventories, it gives you the latest value. So for the managers, for the purchasing managers, sales managers, it's always better to know like the real time values so that they can adjust accordingly, right? So it's better. Mistakes are lower because for the computerized systems, and it also decreases the use of paper. Paper is more vulnerable, it gets lost, it gets stolen, etc., etc. So the more you use real-time systems, the dependency on paper decreases. So it's a good thing for the company. Okay, so all of these benefits are from the perspective of the revenue cycle. Clear? Any questions? Acha. So what are POS systems? These are something you're familiar with if you have gone to Shopno. Shopno uses a POS. POS means point of sale, right? So POS bole, POS machine use kore. So POS is basically point of sale. So point of sale systems are used extensively in retail establishments. Shopno, Mina Bazaar, Arong, Best Buy, right? So these are all examples which use point of sale systems. Customers will pick the inventory from the shelf, take them to the cashier. Clerk scans the UPC, Universal Product Code. The POS system is connected to an inventory file where the price and description are retrieved. The inventory levels are updated and reorder points can immediately be detected. So what happens is customer goes to the shop, takes the product from the shelf, takes it to the counter. The salesperson will scan the barcode on the product. So what will happen on the computer of the salesperson, the inventory details will come up, price, quantity, etc., weight, right? So all of these details will be displayed. So once the transaction is executed, the level of the inventory will go down. The inventory level will be updated. And if there is a need to reorder, that need can be calculated. So what is the point? For example, if the inventory goes down below a certain point, it's called the reordering point. So then the reorder needs to be made, right, with the supplier. যখন ইনভেন্টরি একটা সার্টেন অ্যামাউন্টের কম হয়ে যায় তখন সাপ্লায়ারের কাছে রিঅর্ডার করতে হয়. So this is basically how the point of sale works. Every time a sale happens, the level of inventory goes down and the reorder needs can be calculated. Any questions? আচ্ছা, এরপরে কি হয়? What happens next? So the customer can pay using cash, check, ATM. Usually, the retail establishments don't give any AR. They don't sell on credit, right? So Shopno, Mina Bazaar, Agora আপনাকে বাকিতে বিক্রি করবে না, right? If the checks or ATM cards are used, then you need an OTP, for example, to validate the transaction. Okay, so OTP আপনাকে provide করতে হবে. You need to provide the OTP to execute the transaction. And at the end of the day, for the point of sale system, the money and the receipts in the drawer are reconciled to the internal cash register tape or a printout from the computer's database. Cash over and under must be recorded. So যখন দিন শেষ হয়ে যাবে, at the end of the business day, all the cash needs to be reconciled. কত cash collection হয়েছে, right? From, let's say, cash sales, bikash, nagod, and all the other ways the cash has been collected, সবগুলোকে রেকনসাইল করতে হবে. ওকে, সো রেকনসাইল করার পরে সবগুলোকে মিলাতে হবে যে সারা দিনের কত সেল হয়েছে, how much sale has been done and how much cash has been collected. So that needs to be reconciled and the values needs to match of the cash collections using multiple means, right? So all of the cash collection needs to be totaled to see whether the sales revenue value and the cash collection value are the same. So any questions? Can all of you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is the point of sale. Now we are talking about re-engineering using EDI. Karo mone ache what is re-engineering? How do we define re-engineering? Anyone? Re-engineering?
So changing the business model using technology.
Exactly, disruptive change. It's significant change. Automation is just basically you are automating the process. But re-engineering, you are basically disrupting the business model. You are basically changing the fundamental way in which the company is doing business. So you are disrupting and making significant changes to the operating model, to the business model, right? So that's re-engineering. So how do we do this re-engineering using EDI? EDI is really important. EDI, right? So ekhane bolche what is EDI? Electronic Data Interchange. So please note it down. EDI. EDI. EDI stands for electronic. Please note it down. Electronic. So it's difficult to write. Electronic Data Interchange. Electronic data Can you understand my handwriting?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so it's electronic data interchange, EDI, very important, right? So EDI is electronic data interchange. It helps to increase the speed of the transactions. EDI helps to increase the speed of the transactions, right? So expedite means increasing the speed. So what is EDI? EDI, the exchange is completely automated. In the case of EDI, there is no human intervention or management required. EDI এমন একটা সিস্টেম যেটার মধ্যে কোনো হিউম্যান ইন্টারভেনশন লাগে না বা কোনো হিউম্যান ম্যানেজমেন্ট লাগে না। So it's completely automated, right? This is completely automated and no human intervention is required. No human management is necessary, right? So there is the customer's computer system, right? The software of the customer, it calculates that the customer needs inventory. The software will select the supplier with whom the business has a formal business agreement. There is a contract, and then dials the supplier's computer and places the order. So it's very advanced. You see, the software of the customer can identify that inventory needs to be purchased. Then the software will determine which supplier should be selected, and then the software will place the order with the supplier. Once the software selects that yes, this is the supplier I will order from, then the software will place the order with the supplier. This is how EDI works, right? It's very advanced, and it says the exchange is completely automated. No human intervention or management is necessary, right? So this whole process is done by the software. This is how it looks like. It uses a virtual area network, but this part is not really something that you need to explain in a lot of details. So what is happening is that there are two companies. So there is company A and there is company B. Karo kono question ache? Thakle bol. Somebody wanted to ask me something?
Sir, re-engineering
Re-engineering is something that disrupts the whole business model, that significantly changes how an industry works or how a company works. Last class miss করেছেন? Did you miss the last class? Because we had a lot of discussion regarding re-engineering, right? So re-engineering fundamentally changes the business model, changes the nature of the industry. For example, Uber has disrupted the taxi industry, right? The ride-sharing apps. For example, Uber has disrupted the taxi industry. And when basically the company massively changes how it operates using technology, that is called re-engineering. Okay, so over here there are two companies. Company A is the buyer. It has its own application software. Company B is the seller. It has its own application software. So the company A is placing an order through its purchase system. The order will be translated and then communicated to the supplier, and then retranslated and placed as the company B will prepare sales order using the purchase order. So কি হচ্ছে, company A purchase order পাঠাচ্ছে, purchase orderটাকে ট্রান্সলেট করা হচ্ছে, তারপরে যখন এটা সাপ্লায়ারের কাছে পৌঁছাচ্ছে ট্রান্সলেট করে পাঠানো হচ্ছে, যখন সাপ্লায়ারের কাছে পৌঁছাচ্ছে এটাকে রিট্রান্সলেট করা হচ্ছে, করে ওই পারচেজ অর্ডারটাকে ইউজ করে একটা সেলস অর্ডার রেডি করা হচ্ছে. সো দ্য পারচেজ অর্ডার is being used to prepare the sales order. So this is how the system is working, right? So the order of company A is translated, it is retranslated by company B, and then using the purchase order of the customer, the sales order is prepared. Any questions? Okay, so আমরা এতক্ষণ কি দেখলাম? Re-engineering using the EDI. Re-engineering using EDI. Now we will look at re-engineering using the internet. Internet use করে কিভাবে re-engineering করা হচ্ছে, right? So it says that in the case of using the internet, typically no formal business agreements exist as they do in EDI. Most orders are made with credit cards, mainly done with email systems, and therefore there is a turnaround time. Security and control over data is a concern with internet transactions, of course. So এখানে যেটা বলছে, EDI has many formal business agreements, But in the case of internet, there is no such formal business agreements. In the case of internet, there is no such formal business agreements. Okay, so over here, most of the transactions are happening using credit cards. And for example, if you purchase a ticket, you will get the ticket in your email system. So then is a time lag. Purchase করার থেকে ইমেলটা আসার মধ্যে একটা সময়ের গ্যাপ আছে. So the more system develops with intelligent agents, this time lag will be shortened. The more the system becomes more advanced and the more intelligent agents are used, the time lag will shorten. Okay. So security and control over data is a concern, of course, as like any transactions. So this needs to be very carefully monitored, because internet transaction korte gele, especially if you're using public Wi-Fi and unencrypted networks and unprotected networks, then security and the privacy of your information you're sending becomes a major concern, right? Because of the vulnerabilities of using unprotected networks, right? So this needs to be very carefully evaluated before you send any sensitive information and perform any sensitive transactions. The security protocols needs to be properly checked. Any questions? Okay, so PC-based accounting systems, these are basically computerized accounting systems, right? So the data and the information are stored on the hard drive, and the computers are used to perform all the accounting tasks. The software, the modules of the accounting software are in the computer, so they're not using cloud-based accounting. So there are different modules. For example, যেটাকে typical company use করে. A typical company use GL, inventory control, payroll, disbursements, right? All of these are used by a typical company, right? So এখানে both used by small firms and some large decentralized firms, allows one or few individuals to perform the entire accounting function. Most systems are divided into modules controlled by a menu-driven program. তার মানে বেশিরভাগ জিনিস, বেশিরভাগ আপনার যে কাজগুলো আছে, বেশিরভাগ যে কাজগুলো হচ্ছে, এই জিনিসগুলো আপনার menu-driven program দিয়ে control করা হচ্ছে. So as you can see, these are all the modules of the software. One or few individuals perform all the accounting functions, right? So একজন বা কিছু সংখ্যক মানুষ মিলে সব accounting কাজগুলো করে. Now my question is, can anyone identify the risks? কি হইতে পারে যদি একজন বা কয়েকজন মিলে সব কাজ করে? What type of internal control risk is there? We have 6 types of internal control issues, right? 6 types of internal control risks. কারো মনে আছে which one will be is in discussion over here? কোনটা violate হচ্ছে? Any ideas? What are the 6 types? Norin?
Sir, I forgot.
What are the 6 types of internal controls we use? Nobody remembers. Ki ekta obostha, pathetic. Acha, anybody else? Samir?
Sorry, sir.
Ifat? No one. Okay.
Sorry, sir.
So there are 6.
Targetion, access, then
Access না, এখানে দেখেন কয়েকটা মানুষ মিলে একজন বা কয়েকজন মিলে এখানে সবগুলা কাজ করছে. So this is the risk of segregation of duties, right? So the segregation of duties function will be in risk. The segregation of duties control, because you're not dividing up the work. One or few people are doing everything. তাহলে fraud হওয়ার chances কি হবে? বাড়বে না কমবে? What do you think? The chances Exactly. The chances of fraud and errors will increase. Manipulation will increase because one or two people or few people are doing everything. And there is very little segregation, which means that the risks of fraud will increase, right? So this is the point. So there are major issues. For example, segregation of duties, right? It becomes a major issue. Access control, this also becomes a major issue. Right, so because anybody can access the computer, so you need to have proper user ID, password, right? So the computer security protection tends to be weak. So you need to have more encryption and disk locking, right? User ID, password to protect your records. This can fail. So this becomes an accounting records challenge, right? So there can be data losses, পুড়ে গেছে, নষ্ট হয়ে গেছে, ভেঙে গেছে, চুরি হয়ে গেছে, hard drive, right? So it can be stolen, it can be damaged used by fire, by earthquake, it can be even damaged by water, right? So basically all of these things can harm the accounting records. So there needs to be proper data backups and proper data recovery programs, right? To make sure that no sensitive information is lost, there needs to be proper data backups and proper data recovery programs. Okay, so these are some of the control issues. For example, you lose your segregation because one or few people are controlling the whole process. Access, the computer system may be vulnerable and may be weak toward, and anybody can access the computer system if it's not properly protected. Accounting records can get lost, can get damaged, can be subject to manipulation. So all of these things needs to be taken care of. There are issues that the company needs to properly deal with. So this ends this chapter. Any questions till now?
No, sir.
Acha, Bakir, just go through the notes. And if you have any questions, you can ask me now.